Okay, so I have part of the lower wall done. Now I'm going to install some of the chair rail. Well, they actually call it a Cornice molding, and there are quite a few inside and outside corners in this bathroom. So you have to remember these are all handmade tiles. So they're not going to be all exactly the same. Some are going to be slightly smaller, slightly bigger, slightly longer. They don't run too bad, but they're not going to be perfect. In fact, some of them aren't even perfectly straight. But that's just part of the beauty of handmade tile. So to cut some decent miters, you're going to need a fairly decent wet saw. If you have one of the tabletop versions, the cheap wet saws you can buy at one of the big box stores, you're going to have a hard time making these miters. So, and they need to be fairly precise for the corners to match up nice and to have it look decent. Okay, so these moldings are hollow. So it says the instructions for these are actually when you cut the miter and before you put them together, you want to fill the hollow part of the molding with thin set. You don't have to fill the whole thing, just the part where the miters meet. And because I'm on a Kerdi-board here, I'm still using an unmodified thin set, and it's actually Tech uncoupling membrane mortar, and you want to use a good quality thin set. Don't buy cheap unmodified mortar. You need to get a good quality thin set mortar. So there's really not much to this. Just gonna make sure that the base that you put it on is level, and that you get a good quality thin set, as I said. Back butter them and put them in place, and make sure everything lines up. And that's really all there is to it. It can be tedious because, especially in the corners, because usually corners aren't perfectly square, especially when you're putting like this the Kerdi-band on it. There's build up, and so you need to really pay attention to what you're doing, and just keep tweaking them until you get them exactly right, and just keep on going around. The corners are going to be the hard part, and everything else is you just butter them up and put them in, and just make sure that you try and keep everything straight and level, and that's basically there is to it. Okay, so once you got it how you like it, just leave it alone. And you want to just make sure that you go back and check, if you're working around it, that you haven't moved anything. But really, there's not that much to this except for time and patience. Okay, so I'm using a laser level, but because I have it, so I'm going to use it. But you just want to put your level on it once in a while to make sure that it's perfectly straight and perfectly flat and perfectly level. Okay, so you're tweaking and you're adjusting and you can't seem to get it right. Don't be afraid to take it off and add some more thin set, or take some thin set out, or whatever, to get it to be right. So, because once it's hardened, there's no changing. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm putting my level on the top, and then I'm making sure that all the tops of the moldings touch the bottom of the level. And that way I know it's perfectly straight. And if I have to, I'll add some wedges to the horseshoe spaces to lift them, so that everything touches the level and everything is perfectly straight and perfectly level. Even though I have the laser level on there, I still like to put the the physical level on it to make sure that it's perfectly even all the way around. Okay, so when it's all said and done, it should look something like this.